Hi there guys, in this video we're going to have a look at the Type 9. I originally did this video a while back, however looking at it again I felt it could have been improved somewhat, so I'm going to take another look at it. So the Type 9 is basically a trade ship, a bit like the other Type 6 and 7, but it is the larger variety. Often you will probably find it's a stepping stone to the next ship up. So anyway, let's go and have a look at the actual ship itself. So as you can see, the price is a beta price, so bear that in mind. The ship has a top speed of 131 with a boost of 201, so it's pretty low. Maneuverability is 0. The jump drive range is okay on this ship. It's not great. I think it runs about 14. Depends how much cargo. Other than that, this ship is a pretty heavy and slow ship. So let's have a look at the cockpit and see what it looks like. So we have two of these sort of vertical bars in our view. A little bit higher we have a horizontal, but they're not too much in the way. If we have a look to the left here, we can see on the very far left a sort of walkway to our kind of cargo section, I guess. There is quite a bit of obstructions up here, but it's not too bad. And we pretty much get the same on the right. Again, on the very far right, we can see a sort of walkway. So I guess the next thing to do is to have a look in the outfitting section. So the first thing to do is to have a look at the hardpoints. On this ship we have 3 class 2 slots. For this I'm going to actually fit a third class 2 because I can show you where they all are later. If I don't actually fit it now, then I won't be able to show you. Like I said, these are not particularly that big for this size ship. After that we have 2 more class 1s or small. These are, I'm not a big fan of small weapons on the big ships because they often don't do very much damage and they use quite a lot of energy in that. But for the time being I'm going to actually fit some weapons here to actually again show you where they are. Next we have utility mounts, and we have 4 of those. These are for our kill warrant scanners, shield boosters, cargo scanners, etc. Now on to internals. Again we've got bulkhead reinforcements, and we've got all the ones. 150 ton is reactive. Mirrors again is 150 ton mass. Military grade is 150 ton as well, and reinforce is 75 tons. Like I said, bear in mind these prices are 10% and a tenth off of that. Next we have our reactor, which we can stick A6 into, which give us 25.2. We have class 7 thrusters. We have a class 6 frameshift drive, which doesn't give us that great a range. Down there it's saying 16.5, but in time we put some cargo on, that will get much lower. Next we have a class 5 life support, then a class 6 power distributor. We have class 4 sensors and a class 6 fuel tank, which is not too bad for this size ship. So the next thing to do is have a look at the optional internals. For this we have a class 8. Often you'll probably use that for cargo. We next have a class 7, a class 6, a class 5, 2 class 4, 2 class 3, and finally a class 2. So like I said, that I think will give you up to 532 cargo space with no shield, which does put it up there with some of the big ships. Like I said, though this is a trade ship specifically, you'll probably find you will put a shield on it, and this ship will support a fighter in the update. So I guess the next thing to do is to have a look at the outside of the ship. Sometimes it can be difficult to actually look around the outside of ships, so it gives you a bit more idea what this ship looks like. Now, like I said, this being a trader, it's not going to be that nice looking in some ways. It's designed obviously for moving cargo. So this is kind of the front part of the ship. As you can see, the cockpit is at the very front of the ship, and then behind it obviously you've got this kind of bulk of the ship. It does come in this sort of greyish sort of colour scheme. It's a very wide ship as well, so when you go through the hangar or the docking play, bear in mind it's going to take quite a lot of the slot up, and if you're kind of at a twisted angle you might actually hit the kind of door as such, so bear that in mind. So if we kind of have a look at the sidle top of the ship as such, you can see it's kind of pretty much the same thing, and as I said, it's quite a broad ship. So if we move on to the back of the ship and have a look at the kind of engine side of it, give you a bit idea of what that looks from there. So as you can see, you've got these two kind of big engines on the left and right of the ship. It looks like a sort of entry or door in the middle. So like I said, they're physically quite big engines. Here you go, the little door must be where you come in from. I think that must be a little door. So anyway, let's take the ship up and have a look at it in flight. Like I said, you got to kind of bear in mind this slot is pretty wide, so I would suggest going for the middle, if possible, of course. So let's have a look at the kind of speed of this ship. I think I upgraded the thrusters to A7, so we're getting a speed of 144 with a boost of 220-ish. That's with 4 pips to engine. So like I said, it's not gonna win any races as such, and it's not kind of meant to. It's okay. So I think the next thing to do is to check the turn speed of this ship. So for this I'm going to find the station and line it up. So what I'm going to do for this is to put 4 pips to engines and put the speed up to the blue section. So this is basically the best case scenario. Okay, let's kind of see how quickly this ship turns then. So it's looking like about 16 seconds, which is a bit slow, but I kind of expected that with this kind of ship. I said a lot of other ships, that is the best case scenario as well, with 4 pips to engine and in the blue section. So I guess the next thing I kind of need to do is to show you where the weapons are. Like I said, the best thing for this is to move away from the station because I don't want it to go hostile, especially if I get too close. So let's just move away a little bit. I think I forgot to set the fire groups up, to be honest, so let's just do that now. I can just set these up to 1 and 2, like so. So let's deploy the guns. As you can see, we have our 5. We have 2 kind of far apart. These are left and right of the cockpit. These are small weapons. Then we kind of have 3 on the underside by the looks of it. As you can see, the weapon placement isn't ideal, and the ones that are far apart are not going to be great. So let's have a look on the underside of the ship. So this is our first medium hardpoint. This is kind of about in the middle of the ship. It should give you okay coverage. I would probably recommend turrets for this sort of ship. Next we have two small hardpoints. These are next to our cockpit. They are very close to our cockpit, as you can just about see here. Like I said, these are not going to be great as such. Then we have our last two hardpoints, which are medium hardpoints, I believe. These are on the far left and right on the top of the ship, as you can just about make out here. So like I said, I would probably recommend turrets for this ship because you're not going to get a very good far focus forward, if you know what I mean. It's going to be a very spread everywhere. And the other hardpoint is right over the other side. So as you can see, they are pretty far apart. As in 2.2, you'll be able to dock a fighter on this ship. That may make the ship a little bit better for combat scenarios or specifically defense of itself. You might be able to use the fighter as cannon fodder as such. So anyway, that's where the gun turrets are. If I think of this ship in three categories, obviously trade is the first I normally look at. Obviously this ship is a trade ship. There are ships that are better traders now in the game, however they do cost a lot more money. You'll probably find this ship is a stepping stone to a bigger ship because it's potentially not that nice to fly, and there are bigger trade ships that are easier to fly. For exploration, I would not recommend this ship at all. It is just too big and sluggish to cross some long distances. I also think that the jump range is going to be a bit limiting. I think it tops out at about 16ish, which is not ideal for exploration. And as for combat, well, this ship is not really suited for fighting. It obviously probably can defend itself somewhat. With the introduction of 2.2 and the fighter, I would think that would be useful for cannon fodder as such and being able to get you out of harm's way. But I wouldn't see this ship as an attack ship in any respect. It's also very slow to do so. So all in all, the Type 9 is a good trade ship. However, it does have its weaknesses, and you will probably find it is a stepping stone to a bigger ship. Anyway guys, hopefully that's explained what the Type 9 is. Like I said, like and subscribe to the video always helps me. If you can do that, that's great. Thanks guys. Oops, I don't think this landing's particularly good. Never mind. And bear in mind, like I said, the prices are in beta, so they are 10% of what they are, plus being at the fan as well, I think you get another 10% off. So before you ask why the ship is so cheap, that's the reason why. Anyway guys, hopefully that's explained the Type 9 in better detail. Like I said, I did upload a video on the Type 9 a while back, but I did feel it could be done a bit better. Hopefully that has been done now. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, take care and have fun out there.